Abusia be like video no share their mom for na ono so nya bi etumi ahwe na minority leader honorable Alexander Afenyo Markins egusu a oye engagement ahodo titrio no eye Ghana mabunu a ne wohwe Ghana tenwin no nse de niam asi kwa se wo ya amonyokuo na opese udi nkunim ebe di oman so a youth no very integral ntino honorable Alexander Afenyo Markins afato ne ho so se na die Ghana mabunu oni ombedi nsawoso na watimi achechire omo niama NPP is made up of ebe mo enya opepa na se omo enya akono ede ama NPP amanyoko no na omo aboa se ebe ya 2028 endrusi ebe to aba no omo nyina no ede omo support ebe ma NPP amanyoko na enya asem ketwa na oni youth bi asanso edi nsawoso achese enya asem ketwa kra ohwe nkomo twetwe ekoso ni niama ekoso otumu say yes honorable Bawumia papa Bawumia the cause to bring Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to power in 2028 no etimi abamu a enya asem ketwa yanjibre na yenko hwe video no na yentie nkomo twetwe ne nsemu a ekoso ni bi yenso yenche ya adwen emfa ho.
I didn't plan to be in politics. Becoming a politician was never part of my ambition. I never thought about it. It was one beautiful evening. I think I was getting ready to travel that night for my final semester law degree. And my classmates, primary school mates, accosted me and said, "Oh, they want me to contest the internal primaries of NPP." And I was like, why? Because I knew somebody was already the parliamentary candidate. They said, "Oh, the person has stepped down and the youth are calling on me to be their leader." So that is what drove me into politics. And eventually, after struggle, because the first attempt, it wasn't successful. Then I went again, because they would always come. And then upon my third attempt, I made it. Meanwhile, they again pushed me to become an assemblyman. I recall that 2006, one day again approached me that, okay, if the member of parliament thing did not work, we want you still to be an assemblyman in the community where I grew up, in Winneba. So we started campaigning, and everybody insult here and there. So I stopped. I told them I wouldn't contest again because it was quite heartbreaking, people saying all manner of things. They didn't give up. My classmates, my primary school mates, they didn't give up. What they did was that they scanned my picture and sent it to the Electoral Commission, and they filled the forms for me. And they got me elected in Afenyo. You yourself, you are not there. And they have voted for you. And the news was all over. I was like, oh, I'm an assemblyman. They said, yes, we got you voted. You know, so I was initiated into leadership. You know, I wanted to become a lawyer, be a businessman, and a judge later in life. I wanted a quiet life for myself. But this is what it is. So, as students, you are now coming up. What is the moral in this story, or what is the lesson? The lesson is know at all times that your friends are watching you, your classmates are watching you, your family members are watching you. So you need to build a relationship that would always make a good impression about you, because you never can tell tomorrow. So everything you do, bear in mind that somebody is watching. If it is good, one day they say, no, let's give him that opportunity. I think this lady can do it, this guy can do it, and all of that. So basically that is what brought me in, and I've since stayed in it. I'm now 48. I started this when I was in my early 20s. So I've really not had a life, you know, for myself, being out there, enjoying life and all of that. They brought me into public service and made me an older person by force. So sometimes I say I lost my youth, you know, but all in all, I'm happy with the work I do.
You are the minority leader, and we know the minority in parliament are the opposing party. Yet you have said that your job is not to obstruct government business. How can you, as a minority leader, oppose the government without obstructing its business?
So, obstruction, in my view, is deliberately denying the government the platform to carry out its plan, its policy, trying to frustrate government. So that, for me, is the definition of obstruction. Opposition means keeping the government feet to the fire, getting government to account, because in the governance architecture, we give every power, authority, the resources of the state to the executive, being the government. Without somebody to check, without somebody to pay attention, government will become corrupt. You already know of the saying that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I believe that the framers of our constitution had this role properly enacted in the constitution to allow for the minority or the opposition to also have a voice in governance. So my focus has always been to deal with the issues, be constructive, engage in negotiations, do give and take. Fortunately, I entered this role as a minority leader with the experience of being a majority leader. So at least I have a clear understanding of how governance is from the role I played as a majority leader. So for me, it's about being constructive and criticizing when I have to criticize. Sometimes people watch the television and they may think that every day we oppose government. No. Largely, we engage. And there are a lot of things that we let it pass. Like when we are passing a law. Instead of saying you wouldn't allow, what you do is that you file amendment. So government proposes a particular law. What you do is that you file amendment. You are opposing all right, but you are also enriching governance. You are making the law a better law. When you come to public accounts and you are scrutinizing, expressing opposition to certain actions, but you are also making the one in charge better. Any good leader who pays attention to criticism can better transform his leadership style and make it better. But if you don't listen and you see it as an obstructionist agenda, I'm sorry, then things can get out of hand. So we work to oppose government, but we don't oppose government to obstruct government. And largely that's what I've been doing with my colleagues.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Maripel Ediasama from Ebri Girls Senior High School. My first question to you is...
What are you reading?
General Arts.
Okay, sure. You want to be a lawyer someday?
Yes, please.
What are the subjects?
History, French, literature, CRS.
That's great. That's a good combination. I did history, I did literature, but I'd wanted to do French. Going to St. Augustine's, the plan was, okay, do government, literature and French. But the way they structured our program, Art 1 was for government, history, literature, and Art 2 was for economics, geography, and elective maths or French. But I really love French, and I regret not being able to build my study of French. I'm in ECOWAS Parliament, and when the Francophonies are speaking French, I say, oh, I missed it. So please don't give it up. It's a good combination. Your first degree, you can do law with French, so you can choose to do do the humanities, maybe do BA French and psychology, and maybe do your law as a second degree. You get it? So just have that as a plan, and it will be a privilege, to have your law and also have French as a second language. Then the international communities, when you get opportunity to work with them, or you get to the foreign ministry as a foreign officer, or an international law firm where you can use your French as an added advantage. Anyway, go ahead.
So my first question to you is, what are some of the challenges you encounter as your work as a minority leader so far?
Okay. So let me just summarize it in two folds. Fold one, our numbers. You see, so we are just 87. Our colleagues, together with the independent MPs, they are 189. So the general impression is that we will not have a voice. Sometimes it's very difficult to try and get them to hear us. The speaker is not on our side. You have a first deputy who is also not on our side. So sometimes in Parliament, you can't just get up and talk. We need to file a motion, file a question, make a statement. All these tools, you don't just get up and do them. It has to be approved by the speaker. So sometimes if it's very political, the speaker may decide to dismiss it. And that is quite frustrating. So you must always be thinking through and use a press conference and all of that. The second bit is that politics does not confer upon you absolute powers. So sitting here as a minority leader, I lead a side that has a character of building consensus. So internally, NPP as a party is a party of peers, right? When I say a party of peers, what I mean is that we are equals, okay? And I am their primus, so the first among my equals. And if I'm the first among my equals, what it is that I must always consult them and engage them and hear their views. So you cannot say that this is what you think, so it is final. No, you can't do that. So sometimes you build a consensus amongst your colleagues in leadership, the five of us, myself, the deputy leader, the chief whip, the first deputy whip, and the second deputy whip. Then we take it to the caucus. Once we go to the caucus, we must go to the party, because the parliamentary caucus is a wing of the party. So you have to go to the party, the general secretary, the national chairman, and also the decision would have to go to steering committee, national council. And now that we have a flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia, you need to run things by him. So we have a tripod: parliament, party, and the flag bearer's office, that triangle. So that consultation, sometimes it has its own bureaucracies and it can delay things, but that is what you have to do as a Democrat. So those are some of the challenges, but all in all, if that is done and done well, the whole debate is enriched, and that helps our cause.
Thank you very much. And my second question to you is, you've shared with us how financial difficulties nearly disrupted your education at St. Augustine's College until you got a scholarship. We want to know what kept you going through these difficult times, and what would you share with a student going through similar barriers? Thank you very much.
Well, faith in God, faith in God, faith in God. My early days as a little boy, I came to meet a Christian home, and everything was about prayer. Mommy herself, originally a Methodist, became a Pentecost, and finally a Christ Apostolic Church member. And then my stepdad, a staunch Catholic. I came to meet my great-grandmother, aunties, and every morning devotion. So throughout this journey, in all difficulties, mommy will say prayer. So whatever the situation, I was clear on my mind that God will see me through. and I never gave up. It was some of my friends who were my study mates who suggested to their parents about my situation, and their parents contributed, and that is what got me into St. Augustine's. I've said it before and I repeat it to you. For the 3 years in St. Augustine's, I didn't have a mattress. I was on the hard, double bed. Occasionally my friends will give me their blankets, and that is how I survived, and that is a reality. Final year, Parkway Sindon's bursary, which I competed for because I was nearly sacked, and by the grace of God I won that bursary, and that's what paid my registration and my final year fees. So what kept me going was my faith in God, and what still keeps me going today is prayer. I mean, as for this life, you can't survive without committing your aspirations to God. Challenges will come, and when you depend on God, He's an entity we don't see with our physical eyes, but He speaks and He directs, and things happen. So I want you to build that faith, and that will keep you going. Be assured you get results. Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity, Honorable Minority Leader. I'm Etni Aram Ayasaku from Ideal College, and my question is...
Keta. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So my question is, was your generation prepared for AI? If so, as MPs, do you really use AI to its fullest potential? And how are you preparing this generation for AI?
I don't think my generation prepared itself for AI. I'm not too sure whether your own generation is ready for AI, but I guess you are ready. I don't think that we foresaw AI coming to take charge of our affairs and we having to depend on AI for things that we do and all of that. But all in all, we have to face the reality, because this is what it is. MPs relying on AI at individual level, I believe some do. In my office, I believe that is one of the tools that my research team rely on. As a person, yes, my recent postgraduate program in Geneva Graduate Institute, I was introduced to the AI as a tool for governance. It allows for speed, allows for proper research into getting the facts, and it enhances your work. So rather than looking at the negative side of it, I think that AI has come to stay, and its applicability in all spheres of life would help make us better in terms of our understanding of things. And for us in the political space, it helps in governance, and all. Must AI be factored in our curriculum? Yes. I believe that we are in an era of technological revolution. That is the new space we find ourselves. Everything is technology based, and of course is the reason why Dr. Bawumia in 2024 elections, for instance, talked about creating a digitalized economy. Some people criticize him, for instance, that he's an economist. Why is he not talking direct economics? But in today's world, no economist or no political leader can talk about governance without anchoring same on technology. So creating a technological space and making technology the mainstay of his leadership will mean to also create the opportunity for the youth, because most of you have ideas in the area of technology, applying these artificial intelligence tools, and once the tools are handy, you yourself can use it to create jobs for yourself. So for instance, working mothers They have to cook for their husbands. They have to cook for their children. Because of their work, there's no time to even go to the market. So you can develop an app using an AI tool to develop an app like Bigwamami, right? Then you go to the market to buy, get it delivered. You charge your commission 5%, 10%, and then also the rider you employ to do the delivery. So there's a whole value chain. You get it? So yes, your generation, it has come to meet you. It has come to stay. Our generation, we didn't have, but we must also adapt. And then together we can connect and use that to help the work we do.
My name is Sari Marvelous.
Okay.
And I'm from Ideal College.
Okay.
So you said the youth should be job makers instead of being job seekers. So my question is, how are we supposed to start developing the mindset of the job makers?
Well, to become a job maker, job creator, not depending heavily on government, that okay, you are done with university and therefore you are waiting to be employed or taking your CV around. Must first believe in yourself and have that dream of making things better for yourself. Making things for yourself means that you yourself must explore the tools that you can depend on. You have the qualification from the university. You have a qualification from secondary school. You have a talent. You must have confidence in that talent and think about how to develop it. But there's one thing that I would also want to suggest, that it is not enough to encourage the youth to build on their talent. Government must also create the enabling environment. Government must create the incentives. Therefore, once the incentives are there, you can easily tap into it. So, a national orientation that would create a certain national psyche, like the American dream. Every American citizen has that belief that they can do spirit, they never say die, to making things possible. That must be the baseline. And I strongly believe that this would help. Again, I think that one of the things that we have not properly managed as a nation is skill training, apprenticeship, getting people to build their own skill sets. We are overly dependent on the white collar education. So you are in secondary school, your mom expects you to become a lawyer, doctor, engineer. But somebody may want to be a painter, but he dares not tell the mom that, mommy, I want to be a painter. If you go abroad, small painting, like the size of this, my picture behind you, can cost millions of dollars. Dare tell your mom that, mommy, I want to be a painter tomorrow. Somebody would want to be a mason, a carpenter, a tiler. We must have a system in our society to develop these talents so that people are free to think, reason, and create opportunity for themselves. Because if we all want this white collar situation, then we'll get all locked up. Is a reason why I believe President Akufo-Addo, introducing free SHS policy, also invested a lot in TVET and made TVET free and invested heavily in machinery, equipment to help TVET. He introduced STEM education. So it is something that starts with you and I. Government must play its role, you must play your role, but all in all, that mindset must be positive. Like I, right in school, I said I want to be an entrepreneur. In fact, when I was at UCC, I was doing BCom. Level 300 was when I dropped out. I dropped out not because of academic performance. I dropped out deliberately that I want to stop school, defer my program, and run my business. After President Kufuor's entrepreneurship counseling session and all that, I felt, oh, so I can run my own business, I can set up my business and start some supply, start some works and all of that. But before then, the mindset was, oh, be employed. I entered university as a postboy because I was already employed by Ghana Post. But I shifted my mind from being an employee of the state to running my own business. So it's something that I believe we can do. It's the only way to solve the unemployment situation in Ghana. And it's also another way to addressing the frustration the youth go through and all.
My name is Akwesi Bonso from Presbyterian Boys Secondary School, Legon. And my first question for you today is, people say all political parties are the same. So is there any real difference between the NPP government and the NEC government?
Good question. Akwesi, but let me ask you a question. What do you want to become someday?
A chartered accountant.
Ah. What drives you into that profession as a chartered accountant?
Money.
Okay. So, no, explain. When you say money, what is it?
Well, I'm doing business, and business, there are lots of fields under business. So, chartered accountant is what will give me a lot of money for me to be able to do what I want to do in future.
Okay, so do you want to run your own business someday?
Yes, please.
Okay. How are you drawing this inspiration? Is your dad the businessman?
Yes, please.
Oh, I see. All right. So what business do you want to do? Do you have an idea what you want to be doing?
Yeah, I want to build a restaurant.
Great. But do you know that the restaurant business is one of the lucrative businesses in Ghana? In Accra today, most of the investors, the foreign firms, the research on business opportunities have it that restaurant business is very lucrative. Yeah. Okay, that's quite audacious. All right, happy to hear that. Anyway, so I don't think that NPP and NDC are the same, but I would also agree with people who have their own perceptions about politics. Sometimes based on the experience, somebody comes to that conclusion that, oh, they are the same. But on this subject matter, I want us to go a bit into policy. So let's judge the two political parties with their track record. What have they done? What do they do when they come into office? Before getting in there too, let me lay a foundation, since we are all learning, to explain to you some ideological differences. So there are two main political ideologies, okay? We have the left ideology and the right ideology. I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So when we talk about the right, the ideological political philosophy that leans to the right, what we are basically saying is that that ideology follows that principle of capitalism. So capitalism, or a capitalist ideology, deals with private sector. Like you, they create opportunity for individuals to do their business, to create wealth, and through that they also employ people. So the burden of employment is on the individual, not the state. That is the capitalist point of view. Now, also under this system of political ideology, the right-wing ideological thinking deals with free speech, also deals with rule of law, deals with accountability, deals with due process, media pluralism, that there must be media out there to discuss issues about governance and all of that. The right-wing ideology also looks at inclusiveness, that in a governance system, there may be those who are vulnerable. So the policy, although is looking at creating wealth, but must also lift people up. So that is the right-wing ideology of which I belong. And these great men behind me, you know, J.B. Dankwa, Buzia, Victor Wusu and co. They are the founders of our tradition, NPP. All right, back in the days, nationalist movement, UGCC, and all of that. So our ideology is to the right. So you can safely say we are a center-right political party. We believe we have family values. We believe in family. We believe in a society of inclusiveness. We believe in diversity. It doesn't matter your tribe. It doesn't matter where you come from. We believe that everybody must get an opportunity on the table. Now, to the left-wing ideology, like NDC. The left-wing ideology, somebody can also describe them as socialists, or the extreme form of left-wing ideology is the communism, where there is state control. Everything is controlled by the state. Businesses are controlled by the state. There's a command structure, little room for democracy or little room for divergent views. There's a command structure. When a decision is taken at the top, the hierarchy, everybody must follow. What we call hero worshipping. The leader is the law. The strong leftist thinking does not believe in the rule of law, where there is multi-party, ideology, constitutionalism, and all of that. It believes that no, once the leader speaks, it's final. So that is to the left. If you look at us, NPP, we can never be the same with NDC because our track record speaks for us. We had a first republic, which was under Nkrumah. Then there was a military coup in 1966. Then came the second republic, 69, under Prime Minister Buzia. Then there was a coup by Colonel Achampong. So eventually we came into third republic under President Liman. Then President Rawlings made a coup, overthrew Liman's government, stayed in office for 11 years under PNDC. Then we started the fourth republic in 92. So now I take you from 92. So from 92 to date, we've had two political parties ruling Ghana, NPP, NDC. If you look at our track record, the first time we had the opportunity was under President Kufuor. When President Kufuor came into office, the medical or the health system was very porous, very bad. There was what we called cash and carry system. So if you are sick and you go to the hospital, either you have money to pay, or if you don't have money, you go back home. So it was President Kufuor who introduced a health insurance scheme under NPP, said that now all of us have equal access to healthcare. 2, President Kufuor introduced a capitation grant. The capitation grant created an opportunity for KG to JHS 3 to be free. So even if you are from a poor home, you don't pay school fees. It was NPP that introduced free basic education in Ghana. President Kufuor also invested in the school feeding program. That there are many poor families, and some parents, because there's no food at home, their children don't attend school. So he introduced a policy for 1 hot meal a day in school to encourage parents to send their children to school. And that helped with increase in enrollment. He also realized that even school uniform, many parents could not afford school uniform in the rural areas. So President Kufuor introduced a free uniform to help the poor. That is the area of education. Apart from the infrastructure he expanded. If you come to the public transport system, maybe you are young, but back in the days, it was difficult. Our rural areas could not get reliable public transport. So President Kufuor introduced a metro master that everybody calls it Kufuor bus, correct? Is that correct? But there's nothing like Atemel's bus or Mahama bus or Rollins bus. Why? Because it was during Kufuor's time that it was introduced. Now if you put that aside, in the area of agriculture, President Kufuor invested heavily in agriculture. Heavily in agriculture. Incentives were given to farmers. It was President Kufuor's time that we first recorded a cocoa production up to 1 million tons. It was all because of the incentive he gave to farmers. He introduced what we call mass spraying exercise so that cocoa farmers get that necessary support. Put these aside. For many years, we had evidence of oil in our high seas, but no government was bold enough to invest in that. It was NPP under Kufuor that invested in the oil discovery, and Ghana struck oil. In your social studies, is there any other party that the record have it as the one that discovered oil apart from NPP? So that is the reality. So if somebody says the two political parties are the same, it can't be true, because these are our track record. And Kufuor also declared a golden age for business. The golden age for business that he declared, it created opportunity for many businesses, individuals to establish their business, to employ people. Many investors came into Ghana, and that is why today Ghana has seen a lot of development. It was that initiative. Now let me come quickly to President Akufo-Addo. He declared the free SHS policy, made TVET free, and look at the enrollment. I'm sure all of you sitting here are free SHS product, correct? Of course, you are in Ideal College, so that is a private school. But largely, many who otherwise could not have afforded secondary education had access. It was because of the investment he made. All right, he made TVET free, so many who wanted technical and vocational education got the opportunity. He introduced a one district, one factory policy. Now let me explain to you. The one district, one factory policy was to create opportunity for businessmen to get tax incentive. When I say tax incentive, what I mean is that you are bringing your equipment to Ghana for your factory. You are bringing raw materials, but government is not taxing you. What that helps you as a businessman is that you are able to save your money. The savings you make as a result of non-payment of tax, you are able to produce cheaper. If you produce cheaper, you sell cheaper, don't you? Good. Once you are able to plow back your profit into your business, you are able to expand. Once you expand, you employ more. This was the initiative of President Akufo-Addo. So I can say that NPP can be credited for all the social intervention programs that we have in Ghana today, whereas NDC doesn't have one. If you look at the national identification card, that ID system that the NPP government started has helped reduce crime, because in Ghana today there's no hiding place for a criminal because of the national ID system with facial fingerprints and all of that. It will be difficult. Fraud and scams, defrauding banks, defrauding people, you will be caught. So because of the system of reliable ID. So We are not the same.
And my second question for you today is, if NPP is given another opportunity, would there be a difference in government styles and approach?
Obviously, new king, new law. All leaders can never be the same. President Akufo-Addo had his leadership style. President Kufuor had his leadership style. Obviously, Dr. Bawumia, who is our new leader, who is going to be our candidate for 2028, has his leadership style. Definitely, he would provide a new approach to leadership that would help grow our economy, give opportunity to the youth. He himself has said that he would deploy technology to create opportunity. And when he talked about digitalization, many people misunderstood him. But you and I know that we live in a world of technology. And if you are a leader and you cannot bring your youth to speed with technology, then you will leave a chunk of them unemployed. And if you don't deploy technology to help companies to adapt, then a lot of companies will be left behind. And once they are left behind, the burden on government would increase. Government cannot use bureaucracy to employ people in the public sector. You can't take everybody. If you look at our Galamsey situation, it's because a lot of our youth are desperate. There's no employment. If you get in there, they may be graduates and they are doing Galamsey. It's because the opportunity is limited. So I believe that Dr. Bawumia's vision of relying on technology to create opportunity for the youth is the most consequential thing ever to be talked about by any leader of our time. And given the opportunity, Ghanaian youth will see a great transformation. So I believe that let's give him the chance. Let's try him. It's not a departure from our ideology, because obviously when the youth are being offered that opportunity, that will feed into our private sector led ideology of creating opportunity for world creation for the youth. And to me, he deserves an opportunity, and NPP deserves an opportunity. What we were told we could not do, like when Nana Akufo-Addo talked about free SHS, they said it's not possible, but he did it, didn't he? So let's give Dr. Bawumia also a chance when he gets it, and I'm sure Ghana will be a better place. Yes.
So I'm Priscilla Oyemensa Manasi, and the student from Presbyterian Senior High Technical School, Ebri. So I have two questions for you, Honorable.
What are you reading?
General Arts.
Oh, General Arts. You want to be a lawyer too?
One day.
One day. Yeah, obviously. You'll get there. Happy to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. So my first question is, you asked the youth whether they are preparing to lead with civic consciousness, responsibility. So how would you describe preparation leadership for a 17-year-old student who obviously is not into the workspace or the university?
Well, bringing yourself to speed with your civic responsibility in itself is the beginning of building your own self-confidence. So you can't live in a society without knowing the ethos, the laws, and what is expected of you. A 17-year-old must prepare himself for the future ahead. And I believe that we, the elders, have a responsibility to prepare you. This engagement in itself is one opportunity for you to understand governance, understand issues, learn from my own experience, share something with you. And I believe that's the platform that must be created to help change your mindset, prepare you, let you start thinking of possibilities, know your rights, know your duties as a citizen, know about the constitution, know that there are three arms of government: the executive, the legislature, the judiciary. Know there are different roles in society. Know that as a citizen, you have a duty to keep your environment clean, not to create debts around you without cleaning. Know that live a life that would preserve your own life, your health matters, and all of that. So once we prepare you, the moral values of society, we inculcate that in you. It is the beginning of your preparation for the future ahead of you. Because if we don't tell you, do this, do that, and all, how would you know? Let me share with you something that happened some few days back. I asked my son to hold my suit and drop it somewhere. And his first reaction was that the way he's held it, but Daddy, you've not taught me how to hold it. You are now teaching me. You get the point? So imagine if I had not taught him how a suit is held. I would just be accusing him for not holding it properly. And I would be wrong, blaming him for something that I didn't teach him. So around this your age, 14, 15, 16, 17, you are getting into adulthood. You are approaching 18. We have a duty to prepare you. How to shave your hair, barber it this way, how to dress a woman, how to sit, how to talk, how to extend courtesies. All these things would play a role in shaping you and how you think. The last time when I was addressing Legon students, I told them about building relationships. And today I will repeat it. You know, success is not about how intelligent you are, how smart you are, how you may think you are privileged. No. You may be privileged with a lot of assets, but you would be found wanting. Success, in my view, is determined by how you build relationships. I told you about how I became a leader. It was my classmate. So we live in a world where collective spirits is what will define how successful you become. So it is important to learn to share ideas. Don't think too much about yourself. If you have ideas, don't be too selfish. Build good friendship. Develop good relationships. Relationships that will bring positive impact. Share ideas. Identify somebody whom you can vibe with and build relationship, because that would already save you.
Again, so I have mates who aspire to go into the teaching sector and the nursing sector, but we all here know that after graduation, after they graduate from their schools, they don't get opportunities to work.
That's good.
So what do you think? Do you think they should aspire for another thing, knowing well that they don't have interest in it because they will not get jobs after graduation?
I agree that unemployment is a major concern. And this calls for government to identify its priorities and align properly. It is sad for somebody to attend a college of education with a passion to being a teacher, and then after school, no opportunity. Somebody is a nurse. The nursing job should be a hot cake. So from what you're saying, we need to look at government policy. Governments must make the appropriate investment in the health sector, in the education sector. So you realize that the free SHS brought an increase in enrollment, and Nanado was able to expand facilities, created new schools, built new schools, new infrastructure. The increase in enrollment led to an increase in recruitment of teachers. Nanado's vision of having Agenda 111, have hospitals in various districts. If government is able to complete them, obviously, many nurses can be employed, many medical professionals can be employed. So I think this question calls for proper prioritizing of our educational and health sectors. And I believe that government must hear this. And I will raise this on the floor. It's an important question you've raised. Otherwise, you, the young graduates, get affected. I also believe that government can use its bilateral relationship with other countries to identify those gaps there, so that possibly we can also look at exporting human resources in the area of education and health. All right, there are other countries that may be in short supply of nurses, teachers, and if we have overinvested in that area, it's an opportunity to use our bilateral relationship to create a job market for our teachers and nurses. These are matters that I believe government can take up. Yes, sir.
I go by the name Burma Kumi, and I'm from Pesek, Legon. Yeah.
So you want to be
the medical doctor.
Medical doctor.
Yes, please. Correct. So my question for you is that 10 to 20 years later, when students like us of this generation look back on your tenure as the minority leader, what do you think they'll say about your accomplishments, one in the nation Ghana and in the secondary school system?
Well, in the nation Ghana, I want to be remembered as a minority leader who never allowed the majority with their sheer numbers to intimidate his caucus just because they were 87. I want to be remembered as a minority leader who gave voice to his people, and in spite of the numbers, brought relevance to the minority's view in Parliament for the purpose of enriching governance. And without doubt, and obviously, want to be remembered as having led my side into a majority, in just 4 years. And that is the legacy I want to be remembered for. As a parliamentarian, elected by the people of Ifutu to lead them, I want to be remembered for the infrastructural investment I made in Winneba and the entire constituency. You get voted for to change a situation, to provide leadership. And obviously, you can't leave it the way you came to meet it. I have 3 core goals: education, health, security. I've made investment in the area of library. Winneba has the highest number of libraries in Ghana, and I'm very proud of that. And that was what I sought to achieve, and I've achieved that. We've introduced the One Teacher, One Laptop initiative. It is going well. Teachers now have these working tools to teach and research. Educational infrastructure expanded, and our students are doing well. We have the quiz competition and the Best Teacher Award scheme which I introduced. If it comes to the health sector, every community in Winneba has a health facility under my leadership, and this is what I've done. Currently building a children's hospital, a first of its kind, to provide healthcare support for the region and for children who otherwise would have to be brought all the way to Kolebu. Security-wise, I came to meet a constituency that had a colonial-style police station. Today, Winneba has a divisional police command and 3 district commands. There is police visibility, security, and above all, I introduced the Ifutu Dream. The Ifutu Dream that in itself provides an inspiration and never say die spirit in every citizen of Ifutu. And the city beautification initiative with the entering Winneba, you come and meet the Unity Square. That is an initiative that was purposely to be a rallying point for every citizen of Ifutu. I have created opportunities for the youth in Winneba, and that is what I want to be remembered for.